Okay, so we're talking about the cage system, and the first thing to realize is that we have an open C, an open A, an open G. Don't worry about how it sounds unless it's the wrong fingering, right? I mean, that is not an open E major. So don't worry about the tuning. And then we have the open D. So it's C, A, G, E, D. Now when we start moving these shapes up the line, we take the capo, or your fret nut becomes your finger. Okay, so with the E shape, we take that up the line here to putting our finger on the low G, and we formed an E-shaped G. Okay, so in the A box we have an A-shaped A. We started here, we bring it up to an A-shaped A. We get a D-shaped F. Same thing, we bring the real D up to the F. Okay, so we have an A-shaped C, a D-shaped F, and a E-shaped G. So that's the 1 cross 4 cross 5 part of the regular cage system. Then we go on to from C to A to the G box. We start on the A, which is the 6th. Alright, low note there, and we have a G-shaped C, a C-shaped F, and a D-shaped G. Okay, so we have a G-shaped C right here, and then we have a C-shaped F right here, and then we have a D-shaped G. Okay, that's the 1, 4, 5. Then we go to the E box way up here. Okay, and the E box starts on 7 root, but the root is right there. We have an E-shaped E-shaped C, rather. Remember, E-shaped C. The E-shaped D is down here. And then we move that E all the way up here, and we have an E-shaped C. Because it's a pretty long way from low E to C. So that's... Okay, then we have an E-shaped C, A-shaped F. Now we're going to dip down into the box and get a C-shaped G. We're going to play the 2nd, the 5th, the 7th, the 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th. Okay? Like that. So this is our C-shaped G. And last but not least, we have D way up here. Okay, so the low note playing the D box is the E once again, which is now the 2. So we're going to look at that E way up here. Actually, it's the D here. Okay. Let's see how we're going to do this D box here. The E is the 2nd, all right? But we're going to play that. We're not going to play a total octave up there. So here's the 2. We're going to play an octave from this 2, which is actually down here on my guitar. I can get it on my guitar. But we're going to play an octave from this imaginary note. We're going to be up here starting on the 2, and we're going to have a D-shaped D, a D-shaped C rather. My D-shape, remember the D-shaped D is down here, and we're going to go all the way up to here, from here, like that. We're going to go. So we've got this D-shaped C way up here, and a G-shaped F. Okay, I can do it an octave lower. If I put this capo down on this D, I can do this whole thing, the D shape an octave lower, D shape C, G-shaped F, and an A-shaped G. So that's the regular cage system, the way that it's laid out. Alright, so just a couple of words about the system. So we've talked about this many times, but we're going to have a little review for people who might be new members. Like and subscribe underneath, and the URL put together for the Facebook group page has instructions below. So also within these cages here, they're called like cages, I guess is what we're going to call them, we have the bottom string of each of these cages. So we have the E, one flows into the other, so it's C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E-D, it goes in a circle. So we could start with the E shape down here. You see I have E written down here. So this would be the E shape, and then the next string up is the C shape. Notice we skip the D shape if we're going horizontally, and here's the C shape. So we have the word cage, C-A-G-E-D. There's interlocking of those notes. Some of them interlock with two notes that are a half step apart. Some of them interlock with a one note. So they're shared. That's why you see these cage banners staggered and alternating top and bottom, so they can share. You can see the shared notes. 7 root right there. Okay, between the A cage and the G cage is only the 6 is shared. Between the C cage and the A cage, you have the 5 shared. Between the D cage and the C cage, you have 3, 4 shared. Be careful there with the fret nut there. That's not a cage boundary. That's just a fret nut, but that's the open strings part of the cage. Between the E and the D, we have the 2 shared there. So that's the sharing system, and we're going to be talking about the sharing system for the new cage system that I modeled out. You know, it's not anything different than this. It just has the 4th and the 7th, and the root has its own cage. But for now, just we want to learn how this works. So we start, let's say, on the C string shape. So the C string shape is actually 3, 4, 5, because here's your C, and here's your 3, your 4, and your 5 in the C cage here. So we're going to go up. We're going to go C, G, D, A, E. Here it is C, G is just on top of it, D sits on top of that. A is only 5 and 6. The A string shape is only 5, 6. Notice here on the bottom in the A boundary, in the A banner, you only have a 5 and a 6 there. Surrounding those two notes that are within the cage on the bottom string is the string shape label A. So A is just 5, 6. And it's important to remember that when you stack an A on top of a D, it's going to be justified to the left there, so we always have the right tuning here. So let's zoom in for a second and see what's going on there. And we just go around the circle here. I'm going to repost this thing, redraw this, and make sure we've got this here. Put me back. I like to be down there a little bit so I know where we're at with the diagram. Okay, so with the C box here, alright, we're going to start on C, go to G, go to D, go to A shape. Now when we go from A shape to E shape, notice if we took A shape and went to the right, we'd hit this little G, which we're not going to use. It's only like just a rung in the ladder like that. If we wanted to double those notes or something like that, we could have an A-G shape, but then we'd go 5, 6, 7 root, and then we'd come back up here to a doubled root, a doubled 7 root there. So it'd be like a cage, like a ladder rather. You got never lose contact. You want 2 points of contact at all times. That's kind of really at a bare minimum, you know. So what we're looking at, then we go from the A to the E shape again, but at this time the E shape moves over